Paul Kudrowski is with us. He's a Bloomberg contributing editor, former analyst partner at SK Ventures, here to discuss the changing dynamics of Apple. What will you look for tomorrow, Paul?
If there's any sort of surprise, quite honestly, I don't think there's going to be any surprises tomorrow, but I think the only thing there that would matter was if somehow Apple has retained the capacity to surprise us with anything. Like, the news on the S and the C products, this cheaper and or more higher performance versions of the iPhone, quite honestly, really don't matter anymore. What's more interesting at this point is really whether or not Apple has enough control over its supply chain and its design engineering that it can still produce products and surprise us. And I don't think they can do that anymore.
Well, do they have to be safe? Are they so dominant, and particularly are they so profitable that they're on the edge of innovation, or is it really about protecting the franchise?
Oh, I think, in the business where Apple operates, which is at this weird intersection of technology and luxury products, you really have to retain this capacity for surprise. It's not just about wringing every possible efficiency out of the supply chain and doing exactly what your market surveys and customer reviews tell you should do. It's about saying, we have a design sense that this is the direction we need to be going, and people who are sort of, market research driven like Samsung will never figure this out in time, and that's the way you retain an advantage and you get a premium in the market. And it's not clear to me that that's what Apple's doing anymore. As a matter of fact, I think it's fairly clear it's not what they're doing.
I don't see Kudrowski with a gold iPhone. I see Sarah with a gold iPhone.
I'm excited for the champagne iPhone direction.
I just don't see Paul, charm offensive.
Well, whether it's a champagne iPhone or a gold iPhone, Paul, Apple's going to be hosting a smaller event. It's going to be held at Cupertino rather than, say, the Moscone Center or Yerba Buena in San Francisco. Does a humbler, less bombastic Apple matter for consumers or matter for investors? I mean, this is a company now that is negotiating with activist investors in a way that Steve Jobs never would have.
Never would have been an anathema to Steve. I think that's really important, and it's really important because it says that this is a highly tactical series of releases. These releases are really just in response to what the market has sort of declared to be holes in Apple's product line, and not about saying, we're going to change the rules by which we compete in the smartphone marketplace, sort of the heck with you, Samsung, that kind of thing. This isn't the way this game is being played anymore, and that's a function in large part of having Tim Cook on top of Apple, because he values his supply chain so much that even when leaks come out of it, he doesn't say, that's it, you're out, and we'll figure out how to produce our products later, which is what Steve Jobs would have done. Instead, you alluded to this off the top, the leaks that come out of the supply chain are more or less ignored, which is, a huge change from the way this company has worked, which tells you these kinds of releases are increasingly tactical, not strategic.
Another leak of Paul Kudrowski that came out of the supply chains is where those new iPhones are going, where they're being shipped. The Wall Street Journal over the weekend reporting that they're going to China Mobile, which is the big kahuna when it comes to the Chinese subscribers, 700 million of them, way more than anything in the United States. How much of a game changer could this be for Apple?
Oh, huge. This was this kind of bizarro moment during the last quarterly call when Cook was talking about the weakness they were seeing, down 3% on units in China. And by the way, I have no idea why, which was a pretty remarkable concession from the CEO of a major public company in the largest smartphone market in the world to not know why your units were contracting. So the bottom line is they have to do something like this, because weirdly enough, Apple's products are perfectly suited to the Chinese market because they're aspirational, luxury branded products. They're kind of a Prada of smartphones. That's what works in China.
Well, the chart's done better than good. I mean, we rebounded 400 up to 500. You go, everybody's doom and gloom on Apple. Here's what we like, Paul, which is anecdotal evidence. Scarlett just got back from Asia, where she saw Samsung. Critically, with your knowledge, can Apple compete on that emotional point in Asia?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is the point that I was sort of alluding to in the last comment, that people are entirely missing, that Apple is this branded halo product that people buy not just because it satisfies some need they have for communications, because it says something about them, about the kind of person they are, about how they're an innovative person, they're a creator, even in Asia. And I mean, this has become very, very clear in market research.
Although the nationalists would like
from China,
HTC or Samsung.
Yeah, and these are seen as sort of the stuff that everybody buys. This is not a halo-branded product, and luxury products have done and increasingly do very well in China. Apple's just missed the boat by not having this kind of product array that Samsung has to let consumers do it, and that's coming now.